morning, guys. I just wanted to talk about something because in the comments on TikTok, I've been getting a lot of people saying things that this late in the game you really should know. Number one of those things is that the sin in the garden was Satan seduced Eve and had sex with her, producing Cain. That's what the parable of the wheat and the tares is. So if you don't know that, then you're not going to know that there's two bloodlines, and that's what the Twin Towers represents. And when they destroyed it and did a satanic ritual around it, sacrificing all those people, that was to institute the one race that they are trying to merge us all into, using the thing that they are trying to push. That is why the One World Tower was signed by Obama. I beheld Satan falling as lightning from the heights. Barack Obama signed the One World Tower as we will such and such, we will such and such, and we will such and such, which you can go read it. I don't want to screw it up the segment, but it's like we will rebuild, we will be stronger. That statement is what Nimrod said back in ancient times when God destroyed the tower and then they rebuilt it somewhere else or whatever. That was because Nimrod lived 180 years as one of the 10 kings that will rule on this earth, and they will rule in their kingdom. They will rule in its entirety. One of them was Joseph, one of them is Nimrod, one of them was Nebuchadnezzar, and there was some other ones, and the last two are Jesus, and then Jesus gives the kingdom to God. And the king that will rule right before them, it doesn't even mention the Antichrist, because he splits it all up into 10 kingdoms and there's individual rulers, but the Antichrist will rule on the earth. But in the book that I'm referring to, it doesn't mention him as one of the kings. It mentions somebody before him. So I think it goes even back to Alexander the Great or something like that as the king before Jesus hands it over to God. So maybe they don't count him because he's a scumbag. I don't really know why he's not counted, but the reason I'm saying this is because if you don't understand that is the parable of the wheat and the tares, let them grow together until the end. Who did this? Who sowed using seed, which is semen? Who sowed these seeds? And somebody was arrogant enough today to even say in the comments of their video that the Targums, the original translation from the Hebrew to the Palestinian Aramaic Targums that we have, that translated, not transliterated, they said that is not inspired by God. They said this. I can show you the comment. How are the Hebrew scriptures, the original ones, not inspired by God, but yours, which came much later, is? This is what we're dealing with as a Christian world. And I was just literally like praising God and crying for the past 20 minutes, just thanking him that he shared this information with me, because the books that it mentions in 2nd Esdras were set aside for just the wise, and the rest of the people get the wise and the books that are considered, the canon, the books that don't mention the fallen angels, the books that don't mention the bowing down to idols books, all the different accounts of that. The Testament of Job, they only have Job. They don't have the Testament of Job, because that would show that Job was tested because he chose to be tested. He chose to allow himself to be tempted by the devil, because he went in his own province. He was a king. He decided to go and destroy a statue that was possessed by the devil. That's why God says don't make idols, because demons can go inside of them. And as I said before, the guy that was a Satanist, I forget his name, Ramirez or something like that, he was a Satanist. He was about to sacrifice his first person in a cauldron, which is one of the first cartoons that Walt Disney made, was called The Black Cauldron. It's a pot where witches sacrifice things to the devil. They don't even realize it at the time, because a lot of witches don't realize that they're actually, getting their power from demons. A lot of them don't. Not even John Todd knew for a long time. So, and if you don't know John Todd, or I think that's his name, because I screw up names, but that guy, he disappeared after he exposed the fact that Masons and witches are all running the government, and all, like, it's everywhere. Masonic temples are in every single town in the United States. You drive down a road, you see a sign, it says the Masons on it. Every single one. They mapped out DC. They've infiltrated the entire United States. I already told you that Obama is the leader of both the Muslims and the Masons. The Mahdi. He even said it on TV that he was God. He read the actual verse that says that he is God. And there's an Antichrist demon living in his body, which is his temple. And that is the abomination of desolation living in the place where it should not be. That is what it is. Just like they confused Jesus talking about his own body and the temple, they confuse the two. Interestingly enough, people also don't read the Testament of Solomon, which tells you demons built the temple. Solomon had the power to control all the powers of the animals and the demons. That's why when Jesus came, they said that one greater than Solomon has come, not just for his wisdom because he could speak from birth, but because he could control demons without the pentacle ring, which became the pentacle ring, which is what witches now use to call demons forth from the underworld. And the demonic realm is in the ocean. That's why they don't explore the ocean, and they trick people into believing that there is a space, because if you believe in infinite space, then in the context of mankind's mind, all of mankind, they unite in a mindset that there is infinite space and there is places above God's throne, which is in the seventh heaven. Hell is a real place beneath you. They've already dug to it in Russia and they heard the screams of the people. It is right below your feet. That's why they can get here so fast. It's right below you. And if you read about the different layers of heaven and where the demons are and where the good angels are and the realms and stuff like that, it's in Enoch 1, 2, and 3. 3 is actually in heaven. You can learn all about the angels and who they are and why they're so, who controls what, who controls the ice and the fire, who makes the crowns for us, all this stuff. But people discredit and don't read it because there's 2 Enochs. Cain had a son, Enoch, the first Enoch, who was into witchcraft. And the books that witches use still say Enoch on them. But as far as our Enoch, he was the 7th from Adam, as it mentions in Jude. But people discredit that as well. They don't give any credit to the fact that Jude is calling Enoch a prophet. Enoch, 7th from Adam, prophesied of the elect to come. That's not what it says, but that's what he prophesied. I'm filling it in. He prophesied that in the future, I'm combining Jude and what Enoch says. In the future, the elect will come and they will appear on the scene and they will have the books that were removed. That's what we are going to use to teach the Christians what they have done. Catholics, Christians, all the people of the modern day Christian world have taken Jesus, the Word of God, and they have taken pieces out of it and made it into a skeletal frame that hangs upon a cross. Do you get what I'm saying? Jesus made a real man named Jesus, born of Mary, who only had a mother, not a real physical father, because his father was God in heaven. They tested the DNA, and Jesus Christ is the Son of the living God. And he could talk from birth, but then he would go back to acting like a child. Dragons bowed down before him, statues crumbled before him. He did miracles at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and onward. There's an entire infancy gospel, and modern day Christians say those are not valid books. That is what you have done. The guilt is on the Jews and the guilt is on the Christians, and the elect need to teach both James the Jews and Peter the Christians how to rule over the all, which is to understand that the archons, the fallen angels, have taken all the books out that tell you who they are, and that they have taught all of mankind the sinful things that they do. They were judged for it. Enoch wrote the judgment, and they are awaiting their judgment. They still have their offspring, the giant spirits that were killed in the flood, still roam about the earth, and they are what people do paranormal videos about. That is what's going on. There are ghosts that are really demons, and they have the power to do things in this earth if they are allowed to by human beings. And there's many rules that go with it and all that stuff, and I'm not going to get into that. But if you don't understand that Cain is the son of the devil. That's why women have pain in childbirth. That was the punishment. There are specific things that God does to punish mankind for the things that it does. That's why when a woman is having a child, God, this is a direct command that God said that because of what Eve did, because she chose to be seduced and allowed Satan to do what he did, she got pain in childbirth, and God said, you will cry out to your husband Adam when you are having a baby. All women do that when they are having a baby. They cry out to their husbands, they grab their hand, they squeeze their hand, break their hand. That is what God instituted in the beginning of time. And you cannot plug in a television or any electronic device to watch anything or do anything electronic without plugging in an electronic device with a male and a female connector. There is no other option to create electricity. So how would I be able to watch something that was a homosexual television show unless I used a male and a female connector which produces something? That is what was instituted in the garden. Is once Satan had sex with Eve, Adam repeated the act, and she had Cain and Abel in her stomach at the same time. And back then, it is very possible, since they lived to 900 years old, that those babies may have been incubating. One might have been born and then another way later. We don't know how that works, but in the text it says that they're 2 years apart or something like that. So it's very possible that she had the baby in the womb for longer, since they lived to 969 years or whatever it was. They didn't live to 1,000 because 1,000 years are as a day, just as it says in Peter. So the reason it says that is from the code. The keys of the kingdom start in Genesis, and they go all the way through all the apocryphal, of all the pseudepigraphal text that goes through everything. If it is inspired by the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, it has the keys in it. And as I'm starting to get more persecuted about what I'm saying from the Christians, I'm getting way more pushback. As I'm doing that, other kids that have heard me and Robert's videos and Zen's videos are starting to do their own videos, and they're starting to do TikToks, and they're starting to do things better than I am even teaching, with visuals and all this stuff. And that's what's needed, guys. This is what I'm saying. We can speed the Lord's coming. You can do it. You can speed its coming. If you speed its coming, you don't have to watch your family